Lady boss energy, yeah, she knows the way. You can finally speak of love and light any time of day. Lady boss energy, this one she got the vibe. Never stop questioning, never tell a lie. Never stop questioning, never tell her lies. He was gotta do it, he don't leave with bad to miss you. Alright. Lady boss energy, this one she got the vibe. Never stop questioning, never tell a lie.
What's good, family? This is Lady Boss Energy, where we uplift, motivate, and inspire each other to get our shit together. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, and if you know somebody who you think will enjoy watching this, share it with them. Our first affirmation for today, it says, I am divinely guided and protected. Oh, yes, you are. The divine will never leave you unprotected or unguided. And all and our second affirmation for today says, today I am brimming with energy and overflowing with joy. Choose start your day with a positive affirmation and a smile to set a joyful tone for the day. Yeah, man. Smile more. You know, if you smile, it tricks your brain into believing that you are really happy, even if you're not happy. But if you continue to do it, you'll begin to believe that you're happy. I'm just saying. Shit really works. And a quote of the day. Because a quote a day keeps the mediocre away. Don't judge yourself by your past. You don't live there anymore. Bro, listen, we stay in a mental prison when we continuously go back to the past. We constantly think of the things that we've done, the choices we've made, the actions we have taken in our past, especially the negative ones. We don't remember any of the good things. We just remember the bad. Well, we remember the good things, but we choose to focus on the bad. Keyword, choose. When I first got sober, and I had to look at myself for the choices and decisions that I made while I was in active addiction, I would reflect and be like, nobody's gonna want me. I'm damaged goods. Who's gonna want to be with somebody with a past like mine? And I felt that way, not because I was afraid they couldn't accept it, but because I couldn't accept it. I couldn't accept the things that I did in my past. I couldn't forgive myself. I couldn't possibly forgive myself for the things that I did in my past because they were unforgivable things, I thought. Until, you know what's crazy? When I started my spiritual awakening process, I hate that term, but I'm just going to use it for these purposes. When I started my process, it happened so fast for me. Within a year, I would say about a year and a half, from start to now, like when I really started tapping in, it happened so quickly for me. And when I was in treatment the last time, I did a lot of healing. So then I began to love myself, and I began to forgive myself for the things that I'd done. I began to realize that if somebody is going to judge me because of the things that I did in my past and not want me, that's not my person. That's not the people. Those aren't the people for me. Those aren't the friends for me. And it took a lot of soul searching and healing and forgiving myself to be able to let go of the past. And you could do it too. It's uncomfortable. It sucks. But once you forgive yourself, and you really begin to love yourself, it's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful. And our cheesy joke of the day, because what is the day without a cheesy joke? What happened to the man who slipped at a seafood restaurant? I have no idea. Do you give it? He pulled a muscle. Do you get it? He pulled a muscle. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Let's get straight into it.
How to start living instead of existing. Are you just existing, going through the motions day after day? It's time to start truly living, and here's exactly how to make that shift. First, let's be honest about what existing looks like. It's waking up and immediately checking your phone. It's going through your day on autopilot, doing what you're supposed to do without questioning why. It's feeling numb, disconnected, like you're watching your life happen instead of actively participating in it. Living is different. Living is making intentional choices about how you spend your time and energy, starting by questioning your daily habits. Which ones actually serve you, and which ones are just things you do because you've always done them. This awareness is the first step to transformation. When was the last time you truly felt excited about something? That spark inside you isn't meant to be ignored or pushed down because it's not practical. Make time for what lights you up. Even if it's just 20 minutes a day, paint, write, dance, build something with your hands, learn a new skill, whatever makes you lose track of time. Here's something crucial. Start saying no to things that drain you and yes to things that energize you. This might mean disappointing someone, and that's okay. You can't live authentically while constantly trying to meet everyone else's expectations. Living also means connecting deeply with yourself, with others, and with your purpose. Put down the phone during meals. Have real conversations where you actually listen instead of waiting your turn to talk. Be present in your relationships, because these moments create memories that make life worth living. Also, take risks that align with your values. Not reckless risks, but calculated ones that move you towards the person you want to become. Apply for that job. Have the difficult conversations. Book that trip you've been talking about for years. You have one life, this one. Stop waiting for permission to live it fully. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, the right time, or for someone else to give you permission to pursue what matters to you. What's one thing you'll do differently this week or next week to choose living over existing? Share it below in the comments. Your future self will thank you. And as always, we will heal together. God bless you all. Peace, love, and massive blessings.
Together we will rise above the mediocrity.
If you want life to open to you, you have to be open to life. And the way you open to life is by saying yes to more things, following your heart, getting uncomfortable, facing your fears. The more you do this, the more life opens up to you. But the more stagnant you are, the more you play small, the more you stay in your comfort zone, the more you're saying no to life, the less open you are to life. So if you want life to open up to you, you have to open up to life.
I love that.
You don't need to know how it's all going to play out. Control all of it.
I'm about to introduce y'all to the 1 hour method. Now, this has the possibility to change your life. My friend Evelyn gave me the concept of the 1 hour method, and I've been applying it to different areas of my life, and it's incredible. So let's talk about how the 1 hour method works. When my friend told me about the 1 hour method, she was saying it in a social sense. So for example, you have a long day, you're tired, but your friends are going out, and you make it to be this big thing in your head. You're like, ugh, I've had such a long day, I don't know that I want to go, and then you opt to not go. But with the 1 hour method, you say, I could go for 1 hour. I will commit to going for 1 hour. And then you go and you're fully present and you're fully enjoying the moment. And what often ends up happening is that you end up staying longer than an hour because you're having a good time. And it's not this big thing that you made it out to be in your mind. So with the 1 hour method, you have this out. You know that at the end of the hour, you can leave. You could be done. You can go home. And that relieves the pressure of feeling like it's a big to-do. The other way I've applied this is with work or with chores. So I had a couple to-do list items and I'd been putting them off, and it became such a big thing in my mind. I had all of these things that I just had been tossing aside and didn't want to do. So I said, you know what? For 1 hour, I'm going to get focused and I'm going to just dive deep into my to-do list items. And then after the hour, I can be done for the day. I can go do whatever I want, but for 1 hour, I'm going to stay in it. And what ended up happening was I was in such a group that I ended up going longer and getting more things done because it took off the pressure of all of this that I had built up in my head. So you could really use this method for anything. Like if you wanted to go work out and you're like, ugh, I'm just not feeling it. But like, let me just commit to 1 hour. I'll go to the gym for 1 hour. I'll go to this 1 hour yoga class. And what often ends up happening with any of these situations is you feel so good after. You feel so accomplished. You feel so like productive. So all you have to do is commit to 1 hour and see what happens. It could change your life.
I love that. I'm gonna try that because I don't.
Where is the wealthiest place in the world? It's not China, it's not Dubai,
Your mind.
it's the graveyard. Because in the graveyard, you will find inventions never invented, businesses never erected, songs never sung, books never written, ideas never nurtured, people never realized. Because they were scared to take a risk. Scared like you. But you want to know something else? You're not in the graveyard yet. See, this present moment is so precious. We have to be here. We have to be in it and make the most of it. We have to live our dreams now because they are possible.
I love that. He's right though. You're not in the graveyard yet, so
I've come to a point where I realize that true maturing is realizing that the entire purpose of this life that Allah is putting you through is to only enjoy the experience, and that's it. Enjoy the experience that Allah is putting you through moment to moment basis. And what's the proof behind that? Allah says in the Quran that He did not create the ins and the jinn and the ins except to worship Allah. إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. That's what Allah says. That's what most Muslims say. But what does it mean, لِيَعْبُدُونَ? To only worship Allah. To only worship Allah is to place all your attention on Allah and to do the things that Allah has asked you to do. To know exactly what are the wills of Allah. What does Allah truly, truly want from you? You go to the Quran and Allah says that He wants ease for you. He does not want hardship for you. Allah says, وَسَخَّرَ لَكُمْ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Allah has subjected to you everything inside the heavens, the skies, and the earth, which means everything that's made in the universe that you can see in your eyes is made for you. All of it is made for you. You look at the trees, it's made for you. You look at the skies, the vehicles moving, being able to move, all of that is made for you. And when I say the whole purpose of this life is to enjoy this life, it doesn't mean that you go and then you start doing the things that are pleasurable to your nafs. For example, it doesn't mean that you go out and that you start talking to the opposite gender just like that. Doing things that you want, that you desire, that are pleasurable just like that. That's not what it means. It means that as you're living right now, like as I'm talking to you right now, sitting in the car, there's nothing that you would say gives you dopamine, except that I'm looking at this moment that's in front of me and I'm enjoying it. And the entire purpose is for you to enjoy it fully. Allah gives you the rituals. Allah tells you to pray. Allah tells you to do zakat and do siyam, do fasting. But that's not ibadah. These are just sha'air. These are just rituals. The true ibadah is every single moment you're living through the world in love with Allah. Every single moment you're living through the world in so much gratitude of Allah. Allah says that Even the car that you're going through, Allah says that you weren't able to move from point A to point B except by like truly efforting, truly exhausting yourself, if it wasn't for vehicles, if it wasn't for being able to ride something and go and use it. Even this is something so amazing, something that you should truly be grateful for. And that's the entire purpose of this life. There's no goal in this life. The entire goal is that you're living right now, truly enjoying every single moment, almost like you're squeezing every moment from its juice and understanding that all of it has love from Allah, has beauty from Allah, and you should be grateful for that. True gratitude is the worship of Allah. And even when you're going through hardship, you're understanding this is also from Allah to make you better, to rise you up, to help you transcend and ascend in this dunya life. And even that, you're becoming grateful for it. Try to live like this and see how much your life becomes way more beautiful.
I just want to add this real quick because I noticed that he was saying Allah. At the end of the day, we're all talking about the same creator, and don't allow him saying Allah to stir you away from the message, because the message is still the same. Just add your creator to that instead of Allah, because the message is exactly the same. Just wanted to share that.
5 things you should do every day to increase your happiness and satisfaction with life. Number 1, get some of that morning sunlight. Yes, the sun has a lot of benefits, but one of these days, it's gonna be your last morning, bro. Go look at the sun. Number 2, throw some mindfulness into your daily life. Give yourself some time to pick up on the train of your thought, because some of us just be thinking. We don't even know what we thinking about. Just jump from problem to problem. Ask yourself, what's my next thought gonna be? And just observe. Number 3, run, bro. You got trillions of volts of electricity in your body, and they need to be used every day. So just run. It increases serotonin levels, which makes you happy. Number 4, spend time planning and executing. Everybody wants something to show for their life. That's why we made certificates. So set goals and accomplish them shits. And be proud of yourself. And number 5, just choose better food than this. Mindfully eat. Anytime you're hungry, ask yourself, would you eat an apple? If you say no, you just bored, bro. Just remember that you survived 100% of your bad days, bro.
The most dangerous combination you can really have in life is enjoying your own company more than the company of others, and having the money to be able to afford to do that. And it actually reverses the need that often comes with wanting to ignore your reality, which is being amongst others so you can be distracted from it. But when this happens and you've sat with your reality, you've accepted it, and you've alchemized it into something you can grow from, you'll actually have to remind yourself that you do in fact need bonds with others, and it's okay to be made inconvenienced by those or annoyed by those at times, because that is no longer what you used to or what you prioritize, as many do and as you may have once had. But it can also be very endangering, because when you are your own judge and jury, you don't really know how to measure yourself, and if ever you fall into dangerous habits, there's not really the checks and balances that exist when we have close bonds and friends making up our life. This is why so many people, when they become wealthy, successful, famous, and rich, they get siloed and they fall into very toxic behaviors and practices that endanger them, and in many extreme cases lead to the ending of their life. While it is tragic, parts of me understands it, because...
What happened? I hate when that happens.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm gonna tell you a little something. Stick with me. So, would you like to know how to truly live instead of just exist? The way you truly live is to find out the true purpose that God has for you. The purpose that He has blessed you with since birth. You know, everybody has a purpose. But in order for you to truly find that purpose is to seek God, and He will reveal your purpose to you. You know, a lot of people nowadays are just existing. They don't know really what they like to do. They don't know what they're living for. You get what I'm saying? And they're just existing. You feel, you know, a lot of people feel empty. But when God truly reveals your purpose, you really start to live that. You know what I'm saying? You start to live through that. You feel me?
You are not behind in life. You're just in a chapter that nobody posts on Instagram. I'm sitting in my car right now after another late shift serving tables. And I know there's somebody watching this that feels like they're behind in life. Like everybody else figured something out that you didn't.
But what people don't show you is the ugly middle. The nights you're tired, the nights you feel like quitting, the nights you're working on a job while chasing something bigger, and the nights where you can't get the thought of success out of your mind. I grew up with a single mom. I lived with my grandparents for a while when things got a little rough. Like I said, both of my parents were incarcerated at the same time at one point. I've made mistakes too, real ones. But here's something I wish somebody would have told me earlier. Your beginning does not decide your ending. Some of the people that win the hardest in life started in the darkest situations. So brother, if you feel lost right now, sister, if you feel like you're starting late, and if you feel like nobody believes in you, you might actually be in the exact chapter where your story starts changing. One day, the life that you're praying for will feel normal. But right now, you're still in the part that builds you. Follow me if you're in your building phase 2, and we can build together. More life out.
I'm not saying I believe in it, but a wild theory to think about is solipsism. The idea that you are the only conscious being in the world. Everyone else, every person you've ever met, was just here to teach you something, show you something, guide you along your journey. They're all just here to be a part of your experience or be a character in your video game. Now it gets crazy because like you can't disprove it. You can't prove that I'm a conscious being. I can say all I want. I'm a conscious being. I'm making my own decisions in this world. But you only know that you're conscious. You don't know that I'm conscious. What if I was just sitting here to test you or to help guide you along your awakening? What if you're only seeing this video because it's a part of your path? And it gets even weirder when you think about what if there are multiple conscious beings, but then multiple people who are just programs or NPC? How do you tell which is which? Like, have you ever come across someone and you're like, bro, there's no way that you're a real person. Like you just can't exist. But regardless, it's interesting because you can't disprove it.
Too many of y'all doing the same exact thing every single day. Same routine, same people, same thoughts, just going through the motion. That's not living. That's just existing. Let me tell you something. God didn't put you on this earth just to clock in and out. He didn't put us on this earth just to eat, sleep, and scroll on our phones all day. Ask yourself right now, when was the last time you did something that just made your heart race? When was the last time you laughed so hard you couldn't breathe? When was the last time you did something uncomfortable that made you better? See? Living is about the moments, the risks you're going to take, the ups, the downs. When you fall down, you get back up. It's about doing something different today that your future is going to thank you for. And stop worrying about what they're going to say. They already watching you. You might as well give them a show. Go travel somewhere new. Go start that business. Go make a video. Tell that person how you feel. Take that scary leap of faith. Because family, tomorrow is not promised. Start living today and stop existing. And don't forget, comfort zones is where dreams go to die.
Bro, facts.
In a world more connected to and dependent upon the system, what does self-sufficiency even mean? That's a good one. So let's talk about that. I feel like people who talk about self-sufficiency have way too rigid of a definition for the phrase. I see people make the argument that self-sufficiency is an all or nothing, alone in the woods, dystopian isolationist LARP where you have to learn how to make everything you need out of mud and rubbing sticks together, or you're not even approaching self-sufficiency. As a person who has been working towards self-sufficiency for the last 12 years of my life, experience has formed what is probably an unpopular opinion on the subject, which is those people are wrong. Self-sufficiency is a journey, not a destination. And yes, I did just find and rescue a baby owl. So we're going to do the rest of this video making sure that he stays safe. Self-sufficiency is a spectrum, with being fully and completely dependent on the system for your survival on one side, and having gained the capability of taking care of all of yours and your family's needs and necessities independent of the system on the other side. There are lots of ways to plot that journey out regardless of lifestyle, and more importantly, there are as many ways to define necessities as there are people on this planet. And sure, there are the water, shelter, food necessities, but I'm talking about something more than that. For us, an absolute necessity was time independence, being in charge of, or at least as close as possible to, what we got to spend our time on. For us, it was important to be able to choose what types of experiences we could spend our time having with our family, or be able to pursue interests or hobbies or passions. We always looked at time as the most valuable commodity, and we were sick of being tricked into trading it for dollars. Another example of a necessity for us was building community. A strong community of people who can individually take care of their own needs is about the strongest group that I could imagine. If you want to affect change in some way, or get something big done, or heaven forbid, something bad happens, that's the group you want to be contributing your efforts toward and receiving the help that you need from. Which leads us to the independence necessary to do something about the wrongs you witness in the world. I think it's great to see people seeing a problem or an issue or an injustice and speaking up about it and taking action. That being said, the people who are opposed to you doing that are looking at the things that you're dependent upon for your survival and are looking for ways to use those things to control you into silence and inaction. We're watching that happen in the world right now, aren't we? I love him. Today's system is built on making you dependent for the sake of control. Self-sufficiency is the journey toward removing those levers of control. Every individual thing that you can trade with your local community, make yourself, do yourself, is one less mechanism that can be used to keep you from fighting back. And from my viewpoint, that is both the benefit and should be the goal of self-sufficiency. And that can look very different from person to person. And that's why I wrote my new book, Out of Your Own Way, to help you develop those skills. And I made the book downloadable for whatever you want to pay, even if what you want to pay is nothing, because I believe the most effective form of protest against a system that was designed to keep people dependent and incapable of fighting back is to break free of it. And if you want to become really dangerous to that system, you help others do the same. The link's in my bio, and I hope you'll check it out. The fit for today's episode, new overalls. That doesn't really have anything to do with self-sufficiency, but this video has kind of changed as a result of making a new friend. Like this little guy is really enjoying sleeping on my hand right now. Those are parallels.
Our mind is a mental factory, and what you think about all day pours ingredients into this mental factory and creates the financial, economic, and social fabric of our life. So if you don't like where you are in life right now, just know you thought yourself to that position. And there's one way to get yourself out of it, and that's to change your thought process and think your way out of it. Because what you think will create action. That action will create habits, and your habits will create results. Whether that be positive or negative, that's up to you. We gotta change our thought process.
This is literally such a cop-out. I'm willing to die for my family. Like, okay, that's a little bit admirable, but are you serious? That is such a cop-out. Jumping in front of a bullet, it's over. Boom. How about living for your family? How about working out every day? How about eating healthy? How about chasing your passions? How about learning how to invest, how to be smart with your money? How about developing your kids into great young adults? How about living for your family? That's a hell of a lot harder than a quick reaction of fighting an intruder, jumping in front of a bullet. Let's not take away from them. I mean, that's still admirable, but don't say that like it's some proud thing. Live for them instead.
What's the number one way to find peace of mind? It's to stop thinking yourself away from it. Let me explain. By the way, I'm the Wizard of Iz. I'll help you use your mind the way it's designed so you can live the life that you really want to live. If that sounds good, follow me. Here's the thing. Peace of mind isn't something you have to find by getting your life organized the way you want it organized, so you're living in a peaceful world. The world you're always living in is 100% generated in your own mind, no matter what is going on around you. And that means when you're filling your mind with worries about what might happen, or blame and guilt about what did happen, or upset about what is happening, or trying to analyze what's wrong with you and fix it when there's nothing wrong with you. You've got innate mental health just like everyone else that rises like a beach ball when you stop holding it down with a lot of noise in your head. When you're filling your head with noise like that, you can't experience the peace of mind that's always there to be felt underneath. So all it takes to feel that peace of mind is to let go of those thoughts that you're filling your head with. Don't try to fight them. Don't try to fix them. That just adds more noise, and it adds to your stress level, and you feel worse. Instead, just ignore those thoughts. Let them be there, and they'll pass on when they're replaced by other better thoughts. That's the way it works. There's a constant flow of thoughts in your head, unless you're keeping some around by thinking them over and over and over again, by engaging with them. So stop doing that. Just ignore them and go on about your life. you'll find something much more interesting and much more enjoyable to be paying attention to when you look out at the world and you find something you love to do to make it even a little better. Like pet a cat, or share a smile with someone, or walk over to the window and look out and notice something beautiful to see. Whatever you pay attention to, you get more of. That's just how your mind works. So it's always your choice. You can have more noise and feel worse, or you can have the much better feelings that come when you pay attention to what you're enjoying. If you like, write the word enjoy in the comments to ground this in your body. Enjoy in the comments. And if you'd like a hand with enjoying more in your life, just click the link in my bio and we'll chat. No charge. I'm the Wizard of Iz. I'm here for you. I'll be talking with you again soon.
If I could, before I answer that, you talked about something that I think is so important. The book you do with your clients.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks to something that is so essential in the world right now, which is solitude. I think genius loves isolation. I think we are so in the world right now, and there's so much noise we can't hear the signal. And so I think spending some time every day alone is so powerful, whether it is in a journal, whether it is on a nature walk, whether it is one of the chapters in the craft section is go ghost for a year. You take 1 year, go to Bali, go to Vietnam, go to Medellin, go to Stockholm, leave your phone, take the classics, read them, study them, learn MVP, meditation, visualization, and prayer. Take long walks and get lost. Talk to strangers, find yourself, and after that year or 6 months or 3 months, come back to the world, reconnected with who you truly are. So I think being alone and going ghost is important. So you talk about how do we rewire our relationship with money? I think the DNA of transformation is awareness. So it's the process of, first of all, realizing that money is something, but it's not everything. So our society says, measure your success by your net worth. In many ways, that's how society tells us to think. We pedestal the billionaire. We don't put the gardener or the teacher or the firefighter on the front cover of the magazine. So understanding that money is not everything and it won't be the source of your joy. Like I've met so many people who've sold their companies. I think of one person in particular. He said, we had a liquidity event. We were waiting for the funds to wire into the account. My whole family was sitting around the table. We watched the funds go into the account. And he goes, it went into the account and I didn't feel any different. And it's that Zen proverb, wherever you go, there you are. So realizing that trap. Number two, realizing, of course, money's important. Gets you better way to journey through life. In some ways, less stress. You can do great things for your family. You can help people in need. You can get things that you like. There's nothing wrong with material objects.
How do you start living instead of just existing? Let me break it down to you. There's a difference between living and existing. Existing is just you waking up, going through emotions, paying your bills, putting food on the table, the constant cycle, the everyday routine. Now living is when you start creating meaning out your days. And how do you do that? Step one, clear on what matters to you and not what matters to your friends, your family, or your partner, to you, or even society, social media. What matters to you, what makes you feel alive. Step two, do more of it. Even if it's small, just start a little. Start scheduling joy the way you schedule responsibility. Maybe a walk, a hobby, something that makes you feel good or something that used to make you feel good. Step three, let go. And what I mean is stop saying yes to everything just out of habit. If it doesn't serve you, then just don't do it. Step four, take risks. Living requires courage. Living requires you to be uncomfortable. Sign up for that class, go to that cinema, go to that dinner, apply for that job, start that social media that you want to start. Just start that project, something that you dreamed of, something that's your dream. Start it. Start it now. Number five, be present. Stop waiting for the big moments, okay? Living happens in the little ones. Even if it's not a big win, just celebrate it. Celebrate every step of the way. Let me tell you the truth. Existing is safe, but living, that is where fulfillment is. And the moment you choose it, your life then changes forever. Have a great day.
Thanks,
Let's talk about 3 ways to maintain your peace. Number 1, in order to maintain your peace, you need to find peace within yourself. If you cannot sit still in a room or on your bed and feel comfortable being in your body without any distractions, without any thinking, that should make you question why and how can I resolve this situation. You should never be finding peace within other people or anything outside of you. You should be finding that peace within yourself. I do practices such as meditation or journaling in order to help me connect with my inner self and in order to understand the basic truths that are within me. You will know what the truth is when you deeply connect with yourself, and you're not going to understand this on a surface level because you can't connect with your deep self if you're just thinking about so many different things, being distracted by social media, and constantly doing things. Number 2, in order to find peace and have peace in your life, you have to see what your surroundings are. If your environment is creating chaos, if your environment is creating negative emotions, if your environment is causing you to feel anxiety, you have to realize that this is not going to benefit you or bring you any peace. You can either solve the situation or leave the situation or accept the situation. You have 3 options, but complaining, becoming reactant, and being triggered are not options because that's just destroying your peace. Number 3, and I think the most important one, is having a conversation with God and talking to Him and praying to Him and being deep and connecting with Him. This can be God, this can be the universe, this can be Source. This is whatever you believe is that powerful energy that is igniting you and enlightening you and inspiring you and allowing you to do so many involuntary things on the daily basis. Trusting in God's plan and having those conversations with Him has relieved me from so much pain and so much resistance and frustration. And when I say have conversations with God, I mean genuinely talk to Him as if He's your best friend. I literally just pray every morning and I thank Him for absolutely everything He does, for allowing me to wake up and be who I am and being able to get ready and make these videos. Then I ask Him for health and forgiveness and for guidance because He's here to help you and He wants to help you. And then I pray for my friends, for my family, for the people in my life. I just let go because when I let go, that's when everything comes to me. There's no need for overthinking, for worry, for resentment. Those don't make you live any longer. What makes you live long is being happy and at peace with yourself. And God provides that for me. Okay, I love you, and I'll see you.
Love you too, sis. Stress, worry, doubt, all those things actually ages you quicker.
I think the thing that made me want to pursue all of my dreams and all of my goals was the very simple question of why not me? Why not me? Why would I believe that the things that I want are impossible? Why would I believe that the goals that I have I can't reach? Why not me? And don't I owe it to myself to at least give it a try? Don't I owe it to myself to give it my best effort? Don't I owe it to myself to work hard, to put my best foot forward, and to see what could happen in any avenue of my life? All of these things and the self-confidence that I've been so blessed to have been given really did make me sit and ask the question. I owe it to myself to get educated. I owe it to myself to work out and be as healthy as possible. I owe it to myself to try and do something new like content creation. Why not me? Who knows where any of this could go? Why not me? Why not? I really had to sit and think to myself, what's the answer? And there wasn't a good answer. And so here I am, trying. I really do believe that asking yourself the question and being brutally honest, why not me? Why do I not believe that my dreams can come true? And sitting with that and really going through that can help.
Absolutely. Why not you? Why not me?
4 sentences that will make you rethink your life. Number 1. Happiness is not the absence of problems. It's the ability to deal with them. Number 2. Feeling sad after making a decision doesn't mean it was the wrong decision. Number 3. You're not stressed because you're doing too much. You're stressed because you're doing too little of what makes you feel most alive. And number 4. The lesson you struggle with will repeat itself until you learn from it.
I love that. That was a beautiful message.
You don't need more preparation. You need to start from where you are. The ego will always tell you that you need one more course, one more certification, one more video, one more sign before you're ready. This is resistance disguised as preparation. But you're never going to feel 100% ready. That feeling doesn't exist. Readiness is a decision, not a feeling. So decide that you're ready now, with whatever you have, wherever you are, and start. The universe doesn't reward preparation. It rewards action taken before you feel ready.
If you want to live your life on your own terms as a woman and have little to no regrets in the future, decenter your age, decenter your parents, and decenter men. That's when you start really living for you. You are going to abandon all the timelines that have been created by society, and you're going to live for you. By decentering your age, you're not going to limit yourself by your age. Your age is not a restriction. As long as you're here, as long as you're capable, you can do what you want to do. You're not going to rush to reach certain goals. You're not going to rush to reach certain milestones because you realize you still have time. Your time is not limited, and you don't treat it as a limit. Decenter your parents if you want to live your life on your own terms and that feels good to you. You should not constantly have to seek their validation and their permission to live a life that's true for you. Your parents have their own visions. They have lived their own life, and many of our parents lived through survival. They cared about safety, and sometimes your dreams are so big that you cannot stay in that safe place, but you have to get out of your comfort zone. And by asking for their permission, they might will say no. You will regret that. You're only going to build resentment because you did not listen to yourself and pursue the dreams that you truly wanted to pursue. And decenter men by not seeking their validation for your existence, whether it's by your value, your worth, or your beauty, your desirability. There is nothing wrong with wanting to be in a romantic relationship or to date, but if you constantly abandon yourself in order to be chosen, you are only going to regret that. Once again, you're going to build resentment within you. So for this year, we are learning how to center ourselves. And decentering doesn't mean to completely remove its existence from your life. Sometimes it's not even possible, but it's about removing it from the pedestal that you used to seek validation from. You're going to learn how to validate yourself and center yourself so you can really live your life on your own terms.
Men and women. I like her message. I want to say this. It's okay to find your true, authentic self. When you become your best friend, when you become the love of your life, when you become the best version of yourself that you can possibly be, and even if it's not the best, it can be great. You can always have room for improvement. Don't ever think that you can't. Don't ever think that, okay, I'm here, this is it, I don't need to do no. We will always be growing. We will always be elevating. We will always be leveling up. But you are going to continue to find your life and relationships not what you want until you become that person. It's that simple. Is it easy? No. But nothing in life is easy. It's not supposed to be easy. You just gotta face your shit head on. Face it. Head on. Boom. Get it done. So you can start to grow. So you can start to find that peace within yourself. So you can start to do the things that you love to do. I just had a conversation yesterday with somebody that was like, oh, well, I want to go out and do things and meet people. And I'm like, okay, that's great. They're like, oh, I don't like to just sit around the house all day and do nothing. I do. I don't do just nothing. I'm by myself. I have peace. That is where I do my best thinking. Not only that, but I don't want to do anything. I want to be alone with my partner, with my divine partner. I want to be alone with him. Why would I do something if I don't enjoy doing it? That is just making me unhappy. If I don't want to, I don't, unless I have to. But even then, I try to change that mindset of I don't want to do this to, okay, I get to do this. What is the lesson that I'm supposed to be learning in this? Because when I'm resistant to life, then I become miserable and I become unhappy. So it's just finding a balance, being able to not see things as I have to do this, but I want to do this. And even if I don't want to do this, what am I supposed to be learning from this? It's so simple.
What do you want? So many people never get started towards something because they don't know what they want. Like, are you trying to tell me that I have to figure out what I want to do for the rest of my life? No, you're gonna change. You're on a path of self-discovery, but you gotta start with something. Ask yourself this: what does success mean to me? And what challenges am I willing to face in order to achieve it? You've got to be really honest with yourself about these two things, because there's always a cost. What price are you willing to pay?
I used to think that gratitude was for people whose lives weren't falling apart. I thought it was for people who weren't carrying the worries that I was carrying. It was the pandemic. I was running a company. I had 2 small kids. Every hour of my day belonged to something that felt urgent. My life was full of problems that I couldn't solve, uncertainty that I couldn't control. So when people talked about gratitude, it felt disconnected from reality, because reality wasn't so sunny. I began to write down 10 things that I was grateful for every day, not because everything in my life was perfect, but because I began to see that even the unresolved parts of me weren't empty. Some of the worst things in my life opened the doors for the best things in my life. All of the limitations that I thought were outside of me were actually coming from my own limited view of what was possible for me. Gratitude didn't give me a different life, but it gave me access to the depth of the one that I already have.
I love that.
When everything in your life starts to crumble and fall apart, it's actually a good thing. Wanting everything in your life to elevate to the next level is the same thing as wanting and asking and inviting for everything in your current reality to burn to the ground. Because that's the cyclical nature of life. Before new growth appears, then everything has to die before it. So if you're going through a major life shift where everything sucks, feel all of those painful feelings so that you don't carry it into the next season, and expect massive transformation to occur. And that's why
what? I hate when it does that.
The function of man is to live, not to exist. I shall not waste my days trying to prolong them. That's a quote that I heard recently that I'm absolutely falling in love with. You see, the truth is that most people, if you look around, are stuck in their 9 to 5. They're working jobs they hate to buy things they don't need to impress people that they don't even like. People are just getting by, and that's it. They're not actually taking a chance to look around and realize what they want in life and pursue that. I'm thankful that I learned this in my 20s, because there's a lot of people that don't realize this until their 30s, 40s, 50s, sometimes even never. And life is so precious given that it's finite, that we need to start living, and we need to start doing that right now.
My days of being a finance bro are over. Finance, fuck you, New York. I'm free. I'm free. I quit my job. I can literally do whatever I want. I can live my life. I don't have to see my boss. I don't have to see the back of a desk anymore. I can do whatever I want in my life. I can be a baker. I can be a painter. New corporate America. I'm free. It's literally 5 a.m. I'm gonna go see the sunrise right now from the Brooklyn Bridge. I've never been able to do this in my life.
I'm living my life. I'm living. I'm free.
That was cute.
Introspection in psychology is essentially the practice of looking inward, examining your own thoughts, feelings, sensations, and mental processes. It's the act of asking yourself, what am I thinking right now? Or why did that situation make me feel the way it did? While that might sound simple, introspection has played a major role in the history of psychology and continues to be an important tool for personal growth and self-understanding today. Early psychologists like Wilhelm Wundt and Edward Titchener relied heavily on introspection as a research method. They believed that by carefully observing their own conscious experiences, people could break down the mind into its basic components, such as sensations, emotions, and perceptions. Although modern psychologies later criticized introspection for being too subjective and difficult to measure, the core idea of self-reflection never disappeared. It just evolved into more structured and practical forms. At its core, introspection helps individuals become more aware of their internal world. Many people move through daily life on autopilot, reacting to situations without stopping to consider why they feel stressed, angry, anxious, or even happy. Introspection slows that process down. By reflecting on your inner experiences, you begin to recognize patterns in your thoughts and emotions. For example, you might notice that certain situations consistently trigger anxiety, or that negative self-talk appears whenever you face criticism. This awareness is powerful because you can't change something you don't first recognize. Introspection gives you that starting point. One major benefit of introspection is improved emotional regulation. When people take time to reflect on their feelings, they are better able to label and understand them, instead of simply feeling bad. Introspection allows someone to identify whether they are feeling frustrated, disappointed, overwhelmed, or fearful. Research shows that naming emotions reduces their intensity and makes them easier to manage. For instance, if you realize through introspection that your anger actually stems from feeling ignored or unappreciated, you're more likely to respond calmly rather than react impulsively. In this way, introspection can lead to healthier coping strategies and stronger emotional control. Introspection is also closely linked to self-improvement and personal growth. By reflecting on your thoughts and behaviors, you can evaluate whether your actions align with your values and goals. Maybe introspection reveals that you procrastinate because you fear failure, not because you're lazy. Recognizing that underlying cause opens the door to change, such as developing self-compassion or breaking tasks into smaller, manageable steps. Over time, this process builds self-awareness, which psychologists consider a key component of emotional intelligence. People with higher self-awareness tend to communicate more effectively, make better decisions, and form healthier relationships. Another way introspection benefits individuals is by enhancing when you reflect on past experiences, you gain insight into how your thoughts and emotions influence your choices. For example, introspection might help you realize that you make rushed decisions when you stressed, or that you avoid opportunities when self-doubt takes over. With this knowledge, you can pause, reassess, and choose responses that are more thoughtful and intentional. Instead of being controlled by automatic reactions, introspection allows you to act with greater clarity and purpose. It's important to note, however, that introspection works best when done in a balanced and constructive way. Excessive introspection can turn into rumination, repeatedly replaying negative thoughts without resolution, which may increase anxiety or depression. That's why psychologists often emphasize guided introspection, such as journaling, mindfulness, or therapy. These approaches encourage reflection while also promoting problem-solving and self-compassion. When used correctly, introspection isn't about judging yourself harshly. It's about understanding yourself honestly. In conclusion, introspection in psychology is the practice of examining one's own inner experiences to gain insight and self-understanding. While it began as an early research method, it remains a valuable tool for individuals today. Through introspection, people can become more emotionally aware, regulate their feelings, improve decision-making, and foster personal growth. When practiced thoughtfully, introspection empowers individuals to better understand themselves and make meaningful changes, ultimately leading to healthier minds and more intentional lives.
If you're living for other people's approval, one day you're going to wake up and you're going to be filled with so much resentment and so much exhaustion. And that path is going to be so much harder than the path of figuring yourself out and looking crazy in the process. Coming from somebody who's been a people pleaser my entire life, I didn't even understand this was something that I was doing until recently. And I started figuring out that all of the plans I had written out and all of the things in my journal and all of my aspirations and dreams were nothing. Because what is it if I'm not doing it? What is it truly when I lay my head down at the end of the day and I'm not satisfied with what I'm doing? If you're living for somebody else's approval, whether that's your family, your friends, your colleagues, whatever the hell it might be, what is that doing? Really ask yourself, what is it doing? It's keeping you safe. You cannot grow where you're safe. A lot of us are tired of being called resilient, of being called strong. But I promise you, the pain of waking up one day and realizing, holy shit, this isn't me. I've been living for the approval of everybody else around me. When those same people are just doing them, what do I have at the end of the day? Somebody else's dream? Somebody else's vision? Stay safe? To be approved in their circle? So I'm not called crazy? So I'm not questioned? So I don't feel alone? What are the answers for you? You will not gain the confidence by just knowing what you want to do and writing it down. You will gain the confidence by just doing it. And it's hard. It's not easy. A lot of days I question myself if I'm going insane, because I've told myself this little story in my head of what I think should be the story. But each day that passes on, I realize that I'm okay. I realize that I've made it another step of the way. And I'm actually damn proud for how far I've made it. And I don't need anybody else to validate that anymore. It's very important that you sit with this and you understand that you can't keep watching other people succeed and other people live their lives and become who they're supposed to be. And you on the sidelines in safety, waiting for your turn because you're just waiting to see if it works out for them. Absolutely, we're not doing that this year. Come out full force. Take your plans out of your damn drawer and start taking action. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's gonna be messy. You're gonna cry a lot. You're gonna wonder what the fuck. But just do it. Yep. I'm here to hold your hand and tell you that living your life for other people is not a path you wanna go down. Live life for you. Make mistakes. Fall on your face and laugh about it. And please stop taking the blame for everybody else's problems. I know a lot of us in our healing journey have self-analyzed so much that we think problems around us are because of us. I'm here to tell you sometimes they're not. Sometimes, a lot of times, people have things they're dealing with, and it's not always you. And sometimes you can just detach and depart and say, see you later. That's your thing to work on. It's time that you start taking up space and discovering who you truly are and doing what you truly want to do. Not what anybody else has pushed onto you. The path is going to be painful, and in the middle of the path, you're going to wonder what the you're actually doing. But I promise you, if you follow what you actually want to do and who you actually want to be, you are going to be so much happier than if you stayed and played it safe to what everybody else wanted around you.
The less you say, the better sometimes.
She's not wrong.
You have something good going on, something exciting, something you're looking forward to, an opportunity that might turn into something for you. Keep your mouth sealed. And I don't mean that to tell you to be mysterious for no reason or to be so untrusting of everybody in your life. But the sad reality is not everybody has your best interests at heart. Not everybody feels joy when you tell them about your joys. And you are better off not saying anything. I've found, at least for me, in general, I do not say anything until it's done. And I actually don't really say anything unless I'm asked. A private life is a peaceful life. The only people that need to know are God, my loved ones that have always been there for me and will always be there for me, and myself. And everything else is just not necessary for me.
You know, you should try. See how far you can go. See what you can do in this life. Because the world is full of possibilities and there's so many cool places you can go and see, and you just need your hands, a dream in your heart, some courage maybe, and you go.
Because research shows that literally nothing in life is going to keep you miserable like the arrival fallacy. And it sucks because honestly, so many of us fall trap to this fallacy. Now, if you don't know what this fallacy is, this is when you take feeling happy and you put it off until you get some future goal. And we think that once we achieve this goal, we will get lasting happiness. So we think it's like, okay, we're working and we're working and we're working, and once we hit this goal, life is gravy. But what actually happens in your brain is you work and you work and you work, and then you hit this goal and life is great. Yay! But our brains don't really like to live here, especially if this isn't our norm. So our brains try to correct themselves and we come crashing down until we come back to our normal baseline. This is why when we accomplish some of these goals, we actually feel worse after the fact. And then our brain does this very funny thing where it goes, well, I remember I felt good when I accomplished that goal. So if I do that again, maybe it'll last this time. So we start coming up with a checklist of things to do, like go to college and get a job and start making money. And so we do these things and it starts to feel good, but it doesn't last. So what we want to start doing instead is tracking and celebrating our little wins. You can do this in 2 ways. This is a player's choice. So you can do this every night. When you do your nightly review, which if you're not doing a nightly review, please drop a comment with the word night so I can do a video for a nightly review, because there's nothing that changes your life faster. So you should be doing it with your nightly review. What was the win for the day? What was the small thing? This is gearing your brain up to look for more wins. This is going to be the fastest way to get over the arrival fallacy. Make sure you are tracking your wins, because this is going to start rewiring our brain. Instead of putting this off to some distant thing, we start looking for this on a loop. So we start looking for wins, and those wins create more wins, which creates more happiness for ourselves. So we've now said we don't need to arrive because we're already here and we can be happy right now.
Oh, that's right. Listen, do whatever works for you, but that is actually sounds like a really good idea to do. Also, I have been a wanderer my whole life. I have been to almost every state. The only places I have not been is like up east, like Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, those places. I have not been there. I was a wanderer my whole life. I would just get in the car and go. I put myself in a lot of scary situations doing that, but, I want to do it again. I want to travel. I want to see the world. That is a big long-term goal for me that I will accomplish. I am in the process of accomplishing that goal. So, be in the process of accomplishing your goals and conquering that because nobody can do it for you but you. Thank you for tuning in to Lady Boss Energy, where we uplift, motivate, and inspire each other to get our shit together. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you know somebody who you think would enjoy watching this, share it with them. I hope you have an amazing 24 and the best 7 yet. And the divine will radiate love and kindness and compassion and abundance and peace and joy and all the things over your life. Today, tomorrow, and forever. Till I see you on the next one. I love you.